Sure, abuti honestly.
Well, just recently, Penuel the Black Pen, one of my favorite public figures, especially in how he thinks and he articulates certain things, opens up your mind in broader topics, general topics as a whole that concern life, right? Okay, so in this interview, I would suggest you go and watch the full interview. But right now, what I want us to actually discuss and talk about, because as a patriot, I was very, very furious on the interview that he had with Gayton Mckenzie when he was still on what you call SABC. Forgot the name of the show, but okay. The interview trended a whole lot. Nah? Guys, let's look at this. Sizwe MPOFU Welsh. Sizwe goes on to go and interview Gayton Mckenzie. He strikes this on this whole thing on what you call the Orania thing, and he tries to make it, and the swimming pool thing, the two topics, he tries to make it some sort of a big deal, but he failed dismally, and he's gonna confess on right here, right? But if you had watched that, you would have been very mad at him. But I'm glad that right now he speaks about it, whereas now the mainstream media is being exposed, because these people, they try to make some controversial things happen even if they aren't, and then unfortunately they had set Sizwe MPOFU Welsh up for failure, not giving him adequate time and adequate information, because he will talk about those things. There are things that you can try to Ooh. The things you could try to trap somebody with, right? But if you're wrong and he's able to defend himself and make a joke out of you on national TV, on mainstream television, you then become maybe a public enemy, or you become some sort of a not so great interviewer, and then your channels just might drop in numbers, because some people can just cancel you. They call it cancel culture, right? But I want us to actually listen what he's got to say on this.
Yeah. Why are you not happy with your Gayton interview? I thought you enjoyed it. I thought you were sharing your opinions.
Yeah.
Which I think, to be fully honest, one of the reasons we should embrace podcast is don't try to be a so-called objective journalist. There's enough content out there to counter. Be yourself, be biased, be like, I like Trump, or I like Harris. And I think you were being genuine. Even if the SABC asked, I think you were being genuine. Gayton was pissed. He came on here, he was like, I'm never going on mainstream media again.
Yeah.
Which was great for podcasts, because post that, he started being like, podcasts are great.
True.
SMWX is brilliant because you let people vent to their, whatever nth degree. Why didn't you enjoy... Why are you criticizing that episode, number one? And number two, just your general thoughts on Orania, which we went to visit this year.
We'll come on to Orania. The Gayton thing, firstly, Gayton, I realized that day is a brilliant politician.
Yeah.
It's exactly what we thought.
There were a couple of reasons why I didn't think it was the best episode that I'd done. It was a brilliant piece of content, and it went viral, and it got a lot of attention.
Yeah.
But there are a couple of things... And I was listening, you and your brother had a chat about it afterwards. And one of the things that I pride myself on is knowing a lot about South African politics and being prepared, right? But what people didn't understand is that at the SABC, and this is just part of the way that news media works, it was something I was trying to change at the time, you don't have a lot of time to prepare. So you get told Gayton's coming in 4 hours on the day.
Jeez.
Right? So I didn't have a week or even a day
to prep,
to sit down and be like, okay, so I have a very short window to try and scan what has happened. And then I must sit with a politician of Gayton's talent and grill them on every detail. So of course, you look as deeply as you can, and I try to bring out all of my research skills, right? But Gayton was able to find one chink in my armor
Yeah.
where I got one date wrong or something, and he just went in and in, and I was like, damn it, man.
Yeah.
You know, and so that kind of made me look like I was unprepared.
Sure.
The other thing, which is what I think the channel started to come to grips with later, is that I think it's cool to grill people, and I do believe the Orania stuff. I think that was probably the best part of the interview. But if you're talking to someone for an hour, you need to have some variation, right? It can't all be grilling for an hour.
That is true.
Like, no one likes that. Even South Africans just don't like it. It's like, why are you grilling this person?
It's not our culture. It puts people
Not,
off,
right?
and it makes them just
exactly
not want to be around you or go to any platform of yours again.
And I like that he says this, because this is true. And I would say this because another example would be like Jacob Zuma. The way the media attacks him, people then begin to have this sympathetic feeling to him, right? Not mainly people from Nkandla or people who have benefited from him, because they know why they would like him. But with some of us, you would tend to gravitate to somebody more, especially when you feel that this person is being attacked and they've been made some sort of a scapegoat, or they're trying to win points from us by attacking him or protecting certain people, right? But this all goes with us. You have this sympathetic thing, or despise, like they say, puts us off. Doesn't matter if it's Gayton Mckenzie or anybody, as long as you feel that this person has been attacked for way too long, and you feel it's unjust, and many people feel it's unjust, that is when people would maybe start to be felt off. And especially in an interview, if you would go on to grow somebody for way too long, because with an interview, it has to kind of feel at home. Even if you may be attacking that person, they did something wrong. But at certain points, it has to go soft, maybe escalate and go down, right? But then, that's just what they say. And I agree. I totally agree with that statement. Because a lot of us do not like when somebody's being attacked for way too long. Way too long. And at the same time, you find that some of the things that they're being attacked for are actually imaginary, like he's saying, right? And well, I'm gonna play bits and pieces of it at the end of this video, so wait to see those.
Exactly, and I think that's why people like podcasts so much, because they're so tired of that accountability interview, and it's like, whoa, I actually got to hear this person finish their thought, So I felt like I was a bit monotonous.
Okay.
So that's why I was like, if I were to interview Gayton again, which hopefully I will, it would be a very different kind of conversation.
Oh.
But I just felt at the end like, I want to do this so differently, but this is kind of the feel of the show, so I have to do it like this.
Yeah.
So it was interesting. It was very interesting. I realized that day as well that the Patriotic Alliance's social media game was sophisticated too. I've since been on the end of attacks from various other parties, but I was like, wow, these guys are organized.
Yeah.
It was before the election, so no one really knew.
Sure.
But I also think I landed some punches in the interview, particularly the part where I asked him about mass deportation, and I didn't want to go over the ethical route and like, is that right or wrong? But I just asked him, how are you going to do that? And I don't think he responded there. So I'm not saying he's the only one who landed punches. But I just felt that the tone of the interview wasn't necessarily what I would like to do. And I would do it slightly differently next time. I must say this though, like, because I was on that show and I was being asked to be like an accountability interviewer and find things, that people had done wrong and point them out live on camera, people began to think that I had beef with the people I was interviewing. One thing I will say about that Gayton interview, where I was also like, this is a talented politician. In the breaks, we were making jokes the whole time. He was like, my people are going to come for you. You don't even know. Like, I have nothing personal against Gayton. I agree with a lot of what he's done. I disagree violently with other things he's done. But I don't have any personal beef. And I want to make that clear, like with Gayton or with anyone else. I was asked to do a job and I did the job. But, one of the things maybe we don't talk about enough as podcasters is like, or people who work in the media, those behind the scenes moments, because people only see what's on camera.
Sadly.
Yeah, but you often are talking to people before they tell you stuff off the record. You get to see what kind of person they are.
Yeah.
And it's hard to explain that over camera or people watching, because you can only watch via the screen. But you get to see a person, you know. And sometimes you're like, I disagree with this person, but I like them as a person.
Correct.
And sometimes you're like, I agree with this person's politics, but they're a terrible person,
100%.
one-on-one. You know,
100%.
and that's the kind of stuff you get to see when you interview people. So I knew quite early from that interview that, Gayton is, he's the real deal politically. Whether you agree with him or not, he knows what he's doing.
Would you like to have him back?
Yeah, I'd love to have him back.
Have you tried? You have tried?
We have tried.
No response?
No, we got a response.
Okay.
He's busy, but I think he'll come soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's dope. I wanted to see if I can kind of help, because I think that would be cool. Giving him
I'd
a
love
chance to vent at you about that sit down.
Sure.
Giving you a chance to speak as you're speaking now, and then being
Yeah.
like, okay, take two.
And
let's have a chat.
Absolutely. And we asked different questions to me. I wouldn't ask him about that stuff. I've already asked him. I just want to know, like, what was it like when you came into government? Like, just tell us the story. Like, take us into the GNU. That's the kind of stuff I would ask if it was just up to me.
Sure.
You know? Yeah.
No, thanks. Orania.
But then, okay, that's the end of the Gayton Mckenzie part. If you generally know Gayton Mckenzie, right? And no, let's start with Sizwe. If you generally listen to the Sizwe MPOFU Welsh podcast, you would see the style that he interviews people is totally different from the one there on the SABC. Why do I say this? If you look at the interviews that he would generally conduct on his own podcast, his own platform, SMWX, it's more chilled, where he more generally talks to people and he lets them say their part. He doesn't grill people, just ask them very friendly questions. Some may be slightly deep and so forth, but doesn't go back and forth with anybody. But on that one, he had gone back and forth. So I mentioned this because maybe President Gayton Mckenzie of the PA would consider going back. Whether he's going to go back, like he said, is a question, but I think he would. Because he's generally forgiving. I don't take him to be somebody who would hold a grudge for way too long. But also saying this, it would be nice to hear him tell him to his face, because what? Hey Baizani, he would tell it to his face. So buddy, I didn't like A, B, C, and D, but then probably I forgive you, hence I came back. Or if not, we'll have to accept this part. But he did a whole lot of things wrong, especially in how he attacked him and said his people will go for him. And we did go for Sizwe MPOFU, right? Why would we go for him? Everybody would defend their president, and especially if you feel like it was unjust, what you did to him was targeting him and using things that are non-relevant to try and make yourself trend or become relevant in that instance, especially going to elections, knowing how a lot of these things could cripple us if he were to look bad. Because with some of those swimming pool questions, some of those what are the other questions he asked? Remember, there's one on the swimming pool, Orania questions, saying why would he go to a place such as Orania with racism and so forth. He had answered him so well. Just because you hate something so much doesn't mean somebody cannot just go and see, even if they hate it. Like he had said after that on when he went to talk with Penuel, that he hates Orania. He doesn't like it for what they are, but there you can learn from those people. You can learn how they do certain things and how they're being independent from South Africa. And obviously at some points they'll depend, but such things as electricity, they're starting to become independent slowly but surely. With what? Electricity that they're generating on their own for their own people, and slowly they wish to be off grid, right? So you can learn a lot of things from them, but then nobody should actually, that whole thing should actually be demolished, and people should be able to go in there as they please without some stupid borders and race cards stopping them, right? But then it exposes a lot on mainstream media on how they try to make certain things so big even if they're not, and how they would try to favor certain people and diminish other people because they have favorites. So I hope such interviews begin to open our minds to why we need more platforms such as these, where we are not being funded but we be funded by subscriptions, and our people who enjoy our content and hold us accountable. Because if I'm doing this channel, I'm one man, I can be held accountable. But these big people, we don't know who's doing it, and a lot of people are easily persuaded to, and perception is another thing, can believe something and then start making the wrong decision because you believed somebody's bad because of a platform that had platformed something and put them in a bad light or a distaste for all of us. So I'm glad that the mainstream media had been exposed in something such as this, and in future I hope we can be able to hold them accountable. That is what Sizwe MPOFU would say. Well, listen to these two and then see why it was so distasteful.
He was just being honest about his political affiliation.
But was it political home? Did he genuinely change political home, or was it suddenly finding a political home of convenience because he knew that would get him a job, and that appointment would then effectively become in some ways irregular because he would just be appearing to support the PA conveniently before suddenly he got the PA job?
That is false. This man was the mayoral candidate for the DA. This man had a job. He wasn't jobless. This is not a man that was looking for a job. I was the one that said, please put your name in the hat. The DA wanted us to appoint a man with no CV. That is corruption. You can go and check. The man they wanted us to appoint, we came with a CV of Derek Welkemoed. They came with a name. That white supremacy tendencies of, no, you must appoint that guy. We don't operate like that. That man was appointed fair and square, and I will stand up for him because he didn't look for a job. He looked for a political home. And we said, we need you. We need Derek Welkemoed because he is the best of the best. That's why he won the Vuna Award. To answer your main question, no mayor. I found bucket toilets. I eradicated, there's not one bucket toilet in Central Karoo. I found children swimming. I fixed 5 of the 6 pools that were there. I found the municipality bankrupt. Eskom, the first letter I got when I became mayor, day one, was Eskom saying to me, we're cutting all the electricity. We defaulted on a 2 million payment. Under my leadership, we paid Eskom since the first month until today, 10 million rands every month. I've been the best mayor in South Africa. No doubt, no mayor can stand and say and prove the things that I've done. To answer your main question...
Let's come to that.
Sure.
So your record in the Karoo was interesting to say the least, because you came in, you said you were going to be there and change everything. You've just claimed now that you fixed 5 swimming pools.
Yes.
That corruption or the bucket toilet system was completely eradicated.
Completely.
The Beaufort West annual report of 2021 still found 306 bucket toilets, and that suggests that it's not true that the bucket system was completely eradicated. And then in terms of the swimming pools, there was a recent investigative report which went to the Karoo district to look at each of the 5 swimming pools that you claimed you had completely changed. One of them was vandalized, they couldn't get in. In Rustine, I believe, one on Bird Street was empty, it still hadn't been painted.
But listen, 2021 was the time of this interview. 2024, he was totally unprepared.
So a lot of these claims of the swimming pools and the bucket toilet system actually aren't true. Maybe people don't go and look, but the fact of the matter is, it's not true. What you claim to have done in the Karoo.
If the report came out in 2021, you were a smart man. When was the investigation done?
My question to
In
you is...
2020. No, let me answer you. Give me a chance to answer you.
You asked
Make
me
it serious.
you asked me a question. I was trying to answer your question.
In 2021, the investigation was completed. I didn't even think of going to Central Karoo then. You must wait for the next one to come because I was only there for 12 months. I am saying to you, there is no bucket toilet in Central Karoo.
What about the bucket toilets around the Transnet land where some people have argued there are still bucket toilets?
Every bucket toilet. There's not one bucket toilet. You can't tell me... you said now Eusebius was here 2011. Now I must hold you accountable for things of Eusebius of 2011. I wasn't there 2020. I wasn't there. Then the thing where they say swimming pools.
But when reports come out, they come out for a year.
A year prior. No, that's 2020. I wasn't there. Now, what's so difficult for you to understand that I wasn't there in 2020?
So in terms of the bucket system...
I read that report.
In
that is the reason. That's where I saw. There's 300 and something bucket toilets. Let me fix it. I read the very same report. Now you cannot come and tell me that it was my fault. I wasn't there. Number two. So the swimming pools. The children were swimming.
Okay.
The only, you see, Daily Maverick and them sit here and they say they did the report. The only journalists, there's 2 journalists that went to Central Karoo.
And to be honest, nobody can even use Daily Maverick as a credible source. We all know Daily Maverick is not a media house. They are a hired gun. They go after people. All they know how to do is a smear campaign. That's all they are. They're only known for attacking people falsely. If you disagree with that, go all the way there. Come back to me and show me reasons for me to believe that they are an actual credible media house. They are not. Even somebody we don't like as much as Malema. He had said these people are not a publication house. They are not a media house. They're just a hired gun. Because everything they say is false and they're just trying to discredit people that they do not like. Go and look who owns it. I don't know. But you could find something there that shows us why they shouldn't be held credible. Not by me, not by you, or by anybody. Daily Maverick doesn't matter. And in the swimming pool thing, guys, I don't think if you had went to Gayton Mckenzie's Facebook, you would not have seen how the pictures, how people were even volunteering, working, some being employed, and having shown the swimming pools work, having shown all the toilets, people being happy that these things have been fixed. But then again, Sizwe wasn't prepared.
The Bird Street swimming pool is still not empty because wall paint was used instead of a swimming pool paint and is standing empty.
My brother, I will fix tomorrow to do you a favor. I will post tomorrow at 10 o'clock how children are swimming there. How people are having a good time. It's winter. All the pools across South Africa is closed. These people are looking for something to make me look bad because they can't. They are losing the Western Cape. We are taking the Western Cape. The children swim. So you want to say to me, I drew all those children swimming there. Children, we take videos. How did we do that?
When was that? When was that? Because
after it was fixed, before summer.
But the thing that is alleged with the investigative reporting that has been done on the swimming pools is some of them worked in the summer period, but then they fell derelict after that.
After the winter period.
And now it's closed.
I closed the pools.
You closed pools? Why did you close the pools that you fixed?
So we must make people swim winter. The pools in Joburg are closed. The pools in Cape Town are closed.
So you're not allowed to enter that premises now?
No, not the premises. We talk about pools. Let's talk one thing at a time.
A pool is a premise.
No, pool is not a premise.
Well,
there's a difference between a pool and a premise.
You claimed to have built a pool.
No, I fixed the pools. I've never said I did anything with premises.
So it's just a pool. It's just a pool.
Just listen since the interview started. He's been going at Gayton Mckenzie and he's failing dismally.
Pools.
So how do you lock just a pool and not?
So we must leave it open. People must steal the pumps. Are you listening to yourself, my brother?
I'm trying to ask how.
No, you're not trying to ask. You are alleging.
No.
The pools. We fixed the pools.
Allow me to ask my question.
You don't allow me to answer you.
Are the pools that you claimed, all 5 of them, have been fixed?
All 5.
Have they been fixed?
The children swim after it.
And they can if they want to, if they could unlock them, swim today?
If they want one, we just need to put water in it.
So there's no water in the pool?
There's no water because that's what we do with pools.
I thought that's what a pool has to have water in it in order to be functional.
If the pools are closed, what do you do with the water?
Why would you?
If you leave, let me just school you a bit about pools.
Okay.
When you leave the pools and it gets dry, that greenness goes in the pipes, the waters, there's animals going in there. So all pools across South Africa get emptied during winter. Summer, when the children swim again, we fill it up. We fill the pools up. There were 6 pools I found derelict. Those pools children were not swimming. I fixed all 5 pools. The only one I didn't fix is in Rusdin. And I'm going to, so when summer comes, that pool will be fixed. Why is so difficult for people to...
one is not...
The Rusdin one I didn't fix.
Okay.
And on top of that, I didn't use 1 cent from the municipality. The municipality was bankrupt. What is so... They couldn't even fix it with municipality money. They stole the money. Yeah.
And I want us to also listen to hear where they also argue about the Orania thing. Just listen to the tone that he's saying, even after having been explained why he went there. Because you can see I've moved the video at 2:35 minutes. You can go and watch the full video one if you wish. Just listen to this part.
If I buy land now, I don't care if there's a white or a black or a colored man on that land. If I want to use the land that I paid for, they can't move. You're going to move.
But the fact of the matter...
They paid for that land. Let us not let racism cloud us.
Are you apologizing for and condoning racial evictions of land?
I am not. I'm apologizing for the fact that our government has sold them the land. And I'm not going to sit here and
but they
not tell the truth.
They don't let black people into the... You're not allowed to live in...
It's your government. It's my government.
It's not my government.
No, it's our government.
It's Orania, and our government has aided and abetted that. You're not going to get me to defend them. But that doesn't give the people of Orania any license within a democratic country to say black people can't live here. We're having our own whites-only enclave.
I agree with you.
But then to walk around and say, I've learned a lot from Orania.
I have learned. So I must tell you, I didn't learn.
It feels like you're becoming a salesperson for Orania. and you're
undermining... So which salesperson come and sell you that iPad you have in your hand and say, this iPad...
You're undermining the serious racism on which Orania is built when you do that. And so we have...
I'm not doing that. I'm saying
black leaders who go to Orania.
Have you been to Germany?
Yes, I've been to Germany.
What do you do in Germany if Germany was built against the Israeli people?
There was a process of denazification that lasted for 2 decades. But they undid statues. They apologized for
what did Mandela do? What did Nelson Mandela do?
I'm not here defending... I'm saying Orania.
No, but let's be sick. I'm saying to Orania people didn't hit people off that ground. And if that makes me an apologist, it makes me tell you the truth. It is the ground.
You're disputing that...
You are disputing the fact that our government sold this land to them.
You're ignoring the historian who's looked at the history of Orania. And
I was at Orania, you've not been Orania.
But I've read about Orania. I don't want to go to Orania, firstly. And,
yes,
and I think
don't
many
argue
people
with the
don't
people
want to
that
go
went there.
No, just because you've been there doesn't mean that I can't talk about it being wrong.
I've never stopped you from talking about it.
But I'm
not going to come here allowing you to say to me, I cannot learn from people that I differ with. I cannot learn from people that have done wrong. Do you know that governments around the world...
My point is, hold on, when you say things like, you found the town friendly, and you were surprised that everyone was greeting. So what? How can it be friendly if they don't allow black people into the town?
So
what's friendly about that?
Must I come and say the people were unfriendly if the people were friendly?
Why would you
because
feel
of
the need to sanitize?
You are choosing the one that offends you. You said nothing about the fact that I said. No, let me just give me a chance. Otherwise, I must sit there. You sit here.
Go ahead.
Give me a chance. You called me here. Give me a chance. I started by saying it's a racist town. But you want me to not learn anything from Orania. I will never, my brother. I learn from the worst of the worst. I learn from the best of the best. You want me to come and deny the fact that our government sold them the land. If I'm president, Orania will not exist. I cannot come here and be scared to talk about the good and the bad. Now when I talk about the good, you guys get offended. But you go to Europe that subjugated South Africans and Africans to slavery. We still learn from them. And that is called life. You can differ with people. and still learn from them.
But we don't
You
say-
can hate people and still learn from them.
We don't say to people who perpetuated slavery, well, it was a very friendly place that I just went.
Well, that's where I'm going to end it. That is just where I'm going to end it. You can go watch that full interview. You could also go and watch the one that Gayton Mckenzie did with Penuel, what was still the Penuel show, the convo. Go and listen to it. Go and listen to it. You'll hear his response on that as well, which I'm not going to share now. Maybe at a later stage someday, when they do a follow-up, right, on the SMWX, which is not unfiltered. But you understand and you see just how he was going at Gayton and how he handled him, how he put him in his place, and he answered those questions fairly. If you disagree, you can engage. Let's engage. How do you disagree? Why do you disagree? Where do you think was wrong that he answered, or he was right, or Sizwe MPOFU Welsh did? Also, if you want us to talk about another part that I didn't have in this whole thing, you can comment there, share on which timestamp that you'd want us to maybe discuss, and I will do it. If anybody, even if just one person asks, I would gladly do that. But then you understand, you see just how he was going at him and how brilliant of a politician he was, because he was able to defend himself. Many other questions where we did not even discuss on this. But then overall, this has went to show how this mainstream has failed with Sizwe MPOFU and the SABC. It has now gotten to tell us and show us a lot on how these producers force these people to actually try and trap politicians and make them look as jokes for content such as this. But then again, I'm glad it's exposed. I'm just glad it's exposed, and I'm glad he failed dismally and hopefully never tries these stupid things again. Well,